All right, guys, tips, tricks, and facts. Back with another one for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix your Xbox Series X to take it apart and replace the thermal paste. You'd want to do this if you've tried all my other videos, and if them remedies didn't work, your next step would be this. This will take care of the white light of death. Some people call it something different, but I've always called it the white light of death. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through step by step. You guys can take screenshots if it helps you. It's not that hard to do if you have a little bit of experience hands-on with things. This is what I do in my shop all day, every day. I fix electronics, and I figured I'd put this out here for people to try to save themselves some money because I charge quite a bit of money to do this. So sit back, take some notes, some screenshots, and all I ask is if you get anything out of this, please subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so when I post more tips and tricks, you guys get the notification. That being said, let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to disassemble the console and replace the thermal paste. I'm a step-by-step visual on here to walk through for the do-it-yourself repair. Remember, performing this repair is going to void your warranty. So if all else fails, this is always the last resort. When they bring it to my shop, it don't matter. I void the warranty by taking it apart and opening it, but I know it's going to be fixed. So other than that, estimated time is about an hour. Difficulty, it's moderate. I mean, it's not easy, but it's not hard. So you're going to start by removing the outer case, and then you're going to disconnect the fan. Then you're going to remove the heat sink. You're going to clean and remove the old paste. You're going to put on some new thermal paste, and then you're going to reassemble the console. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Remember, before you begin, I'm going to give you the safety and warranty warnings. I'm in no way responsible for any mistakes you make doing this. This is strictly me giving the way I repair the systems that I know works. So opening the console is going to void your warranty. You already know that. You want to unplug the console and disconnect all cables first. You got to make sure the console is completely powered off before starting and unhooked. You want to work on an anti-static, well-lit, clutter-free surface. Just a clean area workspace it's just always better to work with a clean area. Use an anti-static wrist strap if available. That'll help prevent electrostatic discharge that can damage sensitive parts, but you don't have to have it. It's not something that's required. Here's the tools you'll need. You're going to need a T8 and a T10 Torx screwdriver. You're going to need a plastic pry tool. You're going to need a small Phillips screwdriver. High quality thermal paste. You don't want to cheap out on that, guys. If you're going through all this, you do not want to cheap out on it. You're going to get you some rubbing alcohol, 90%, some lint-free cloths, and some coffee filters. If you can't find a lint-free cloth, just use coffee filters. And some compressed air, because while you're taking it apart, you might as well go ahead and get it clean. And by the time you're done with it, you're going to have you a brand new system. First, you want to remove the stand and outer shell. By doing that, you're going to lay the console on a soft surface, rotate the stand counterclockwise until it stops, and then you'll pull straight down to take the stand off. Remove the outer shell. The outer shell is held by plastic clips, not screws. So place your thumbs on the back and fingers on the front. Gently unclip the side tabs. There's 3 on each side. And then slide the shell straight up and off the console. There's a picture there showing you where the tabs are. You're going to set the screws aside. I always use a little, some kind of container that has where I can label so I know which screws came from what. And take pictures with your phone since you're new to this. If you're new to this, take pictures with your phone as you take it apart. But I've broke this PowerPoint down to try to make it to where all you need is screenshots. Yeah, you want to place all screws and clips in labeled tray. Keep parts organized by the step, and this will help ensure reassembly. But remember, the outer shell is held by clips, not screws. So use gentle pressure when unclipping to avoid breaking them tabs. Then you're going to remove the rear on and off and side panels. Unscrew the rear panel, covering the HDMI, USB, and power storage expansion ports. That's going to require T8 Torx. Slide off the side panel. Keep the screws organized, like I mentioned. Perfect way to do it is get you a container like you with compartments and then just throw them in there. Or you can just get 3 separate cups, 4 separate cups, whatever. You're going to detach the front panel and disk drive. You're going to remove the 4 screws securing the disk drive to the chassis. As you can see in the picture, it's T10 Torx. You're going to want to disconnect the disk drive ribbon and the power connector from the motherboard. You want to handle the ribbon cables gently. So pull the connector straight up, never sideways. They just come right out. You do have a little clip on the ribbon that you want to lift up. When you see it, it is self-explanatory. You want to lift and remove the front panel assembly. Remember, you pull the connector straight up. You don't ever want to pull them sideways because you'll bend sensitive parts. You're going to remove the power supply unit. Unscrew the power supply unit bracket. It's usually 3 to 4 screws. Remove the screws securing the power supply bracket to the chassis. That's going to be a T10 Torx. You want to disconnect the main power cable from the motherboard. You depress the latch on the connector, and then you pull the cable straight out. It's self-explanatory once you see it. And then you're going to lift the power supply unit straight out of the chassis. You want to grab the PSU and lift it straight up to remove it from the chassis. Just pull it straight up. Don't wiggle it. None of that. You just pull it right up. Pulling it straight up instead of rocking it back and forth is going to save sensitive parts in there from getting moved around. And remember, the power supply unit capacitors can retain a little bit of charge, so avoid touching the internal contacts. If it does have a little charge in there, it's nothing that's going to shock you majorly or kill you. It might be like a static shock, like when people rub their feet together or rub their hair with a balloon. It's just a little static shock. Step 5, you're going to access the motherboard and cooling assembly. You want to remove the remaining screws holding the motherboard tray, as pictured. Remove the screws with the Phillips screwdriver. Then you're going to disconnect the fan cable and any remaining ribbon connectors. Then you're going to lift the motherboard and the heatsink assembly out as one unit, as pictured. Then you're going to remove the heatsink and fan. To do that, you need to remove the large heatsink fan shroud. There's 4 spring-loaded screws securing it to the heatsink. Then you're going to use a crisscross pattern. Loosen the screws and a crisscross. You don't want to just go from 1 to 4. You want to crisscross them. These screws apply even tension across the die. Removing a star pattern avoids warping the heatsink or power supply or PCB. Lift the heatsink straight up. Once all screws are fully loose, gently lift the heatsink and fan straight up off the APU. Do not twist or slide. Remember them spring-loaded screws. You want to crisscross in a star pattern when you loosen them, as the picture breaks it down. All you need is a screenshot of this right here. I've broke this down as the most simplest possible way I can think that to help somebody who's never done it before. And then again, you want to lift it straight up. You don't want to wiggle it back and forth because that's where you're going to be putting the thermal paste on. Now you want to clean off the old thermal paste. And don't skimp on that either. You want to make sure you get every little bit of residue off of it. You're going to wipe off all the old thermal paste off the APU die and the heatsink contact plate. There's a picture of what the heatsink contact plate is. It's the underside of the heatsink. And you want to get it clean just like these pictures. As soon as you take it apart, you'll see exactly what the thermal paste is. And then you're going to use rubbing alcohol with a lint-free cloth or a coffee filter. You can use a coffee filter if you ain't got a lint-free cloth. Then you want to ensure that the surfaces are completely clean, absolutely completely clean and dry. If you leave any bit of paste left on there, it's going to make a gap, because by the time you get to this and you've had to do this because your Xbox is messed up, that thermal paste is going to be kind of hard. It's not going to be real hard, but it's going to be hard enough to where it won't let the new thermal paste apply evenly and seal all the way. It's critical. You have to be sure you get that completely clean, or this whole thing was a waste. Then you're going to apply to the center of the APU die. Option 1, you can just put a little pea size amount, 4 to 5 millimeters, or you can do option 2, a thin X. I just use a little pea size amount. You don't want to over apply, because as I pictured here, you can see how it is. You don't want it to be running over the side, so make sure you use a pea size amount. Use high quality thermal paste. Like I said, you don't skimp on that. Please don't, because then you'll waste your time. And then you're going to reinstall the heat sink and fan. You want to align the heat sink over the APU directly over it. You want to drop that down perfectly straight. You don't want to drop it down and then have to slide it. None of that. It'll fall right straight in place. So you make sure you drop it straight. Then you're going to tighten the screws in a diagonal crisscross pattern as pictured. Then you're going to reconnect the fan cable. Then you're going to reassemble it just the same way you took it apart. You're going to reinstall the motherboard tray, the PSU, the disk drive, and front panel. PSU is the power supply unit. Set components back into place in the correct order and secure with the appropriate screws. Reconnect all ribbon cables. That's important, or you're gonna put it together and then your disk drive ain't gonna work, or you're gonna have issues elsewhere. So just make sure you reconnect all the cables. Reattach the side panel, the rear on and off cover, outer shell, and stand. Then you're going to power it on and test it. Reconnect it and boot it up. Reconnect the power cable and HDMI cable. Press the Xbox button to power on the console. If the Xbox don't power on, you need to recheck all connectors before assuming it's a hardware failure. But you should have checked to make sure it wasn't a hardware failure before you got to this step. I have a video up on there about how to fix and check for hardware and issues. You want to check the fan operation. Listen for a normal fan operation. You should hear a steady, smooth airflow. It shouldn't be loud, running full blast. It might for the first couple seconds, and then it should kick down. Check and make sure there ain't no unusual noises like rattling, grinding, or buzzing. If there is, that means something wasn't put back right. And then you're going to monitor the performance. Play a game, monitor temperatures, confirm that cooling performance has improved and that the console rolls stable with lower temps. Here's some common mistakes to avoid. I've seen this a lot of times, guys. Like I said, I put this together to make it so simple for you. Too much thermal paste, like I said, just use a pea size amount. And when you don't spread it, when you put the heat sink down, it'll spread itself where it needs to go. If you use too much thermal paste, it can cause spillover onto the other components on the motherboard. And then this can lead to the thermal issues, short circuits, or system failure. Another mistake I've seen is people forcing the plastic clips and then they're broke. Or people lose track of which screws go where. That's why it's important to make sure you separate them and label them. Most of the time, I just have a tray with separate compartments that I can stick a little masking tape on with the part that they come from. And then you want to reconnect the ribbons and cables at a straight. No, don't go in at an angle. Don't bend them up, twist them up, force them in. And then here's a recap on the full teardown and repaste process. Remove shell and panels. Remove the rubber feet. Remove outer shell screws. Lift off top cover and remove the side panels. Then you're going to remove the internal screws and disconnect the front board cable. Remove the front panel. Then you're going to remove the disk drive. Then you're going to remove the power supply unit. Then you're going to remove the access heat sink and fan. Remove the heat sink. Then you're going to clean the surface real good. Not a speck left on it. That's important. Then you're going to apply new high top-notch thermal paste. Reassemble it in the reverse way, reconnect it and check, and then test and verify. And other than that, that's it. It's pretty simple, guys. It can be intimidating, but if you have any experience with your hands and you do, you can handle little things like this. It's very, very simple. And I charge a lot of money to do this. So you can do it yourself at home if you're confident in enough, but if not, you can always take it to a repair shop. That being said, that's the end of this video. Appreciate you guys watching. I'd really appreciate it if you got something from this video, if you subscribed and stay updated. I post tips, tricks, and facts about everything. I'm an electronic repair shop. So I'm going to be mainly doing electronics on here, but I do a little bit of everything. Life hacks, do it yourself things for home. But subscribe, hit your notification bell so you get notified when I post videos. I'll be posting another video how to fix your disk drive if you have disk drive issues on your Xbox or your PlayStation. I already have videos up on how to do the repairs before you do this to eliminate this. So if the video I posted before this one fixes your problem, you don't need to do this. This is only after you try my first videos. Again, I'd appreciate it if you'd like and share. With that being said, see ya.